Our next comic is a girl off my own heart because she, yes, inkjetted her intro card for my reading ease. That's fabulous. She says she's a writer, a poet, a drummer, a comic, and more. Her favorite color is red. Check the curtain. Do we know things or not? Caffeine and nicotine are her drugs of choice. Oops is her favorite word. Please welcome Chrystine Julian.
Also my shortest. It is, I would write poetry on poultry, but I'm just chicken. I'm also, of course, a drummer and a comic, and one of the reasons I do comedy is because when I tell jokes, people always say, she's a really good drummer. And I do love the word oops. I think it's a funny word. It rhymes with poops. You know, so there are all kinds of uses for it. And what you may not know is that oops is also one of the scariest words in the English language. And if you don't believe me, just wait till it's said by the person cutting your hair. 1 ear, 2 ears, you know. A while back I was riding down from Lake Isabella to Bakersfield on Highway 178, which if you've never made that ride, it's this windy canyon mountain road that's so narrow they can't even put a guardrail on it. So as a passenger, you're looking right down into the canyon, and the guy driving took a curve a little too fast. He goes, oops, sorry. I said, don't apologize to me. You're the one who's got to clean the seat. Rhymes with poops. You know, my success tonight, of course, is really got to do more with how much you guys laugh. So this is where I ask you to please turn to your neighbor and tickle them. No, don't. Really don't. Just look at them like you're going to. That almost always works. You know, it's tough to make friends when you're a comic. People find out and they don't want to get caught. In fact, I printed some buttons up. It says, you know, warning, I'm a comic. If you do something stupid, I'll talk about you in my act. I had this woman I used to work with one day, really annoying. You may know the type. She's one of these workout fanatics. She's always doing her Pilates and her crunches and bragging about her six-pack abs. Well, I showed her. I went for the cake. It works for me, you know. Hey, we're in a political season. You know, we're hearing a lot of Democratic convention, all that kind of thing. So for the next few months, a lot of the things we're going to hear are going to have to do with politics. Have you noticed with Mitt Romney how much he looks like a Ken doll? Yeah, and he's smart as one too. And if you notice the polling on Mitt, he's actually very popular with white males. So I'm wondering, doesn't that put him in the same category as the Three Stooges and Jackass movies?
One of the worst feelings in the world is to walk up in front of an audience and before you say anything, they all laugh. Because you know your fly is open, and if you look, it's only going to get worse. You know, I do a lot of things besides comedy, but I got into comedy because it didn't actually work out as a sex worker. I propositioned somebody, they laughed. I said, okay, I'll try some jokes. What the hell? I'm also a drummer. I'm not really a good drummer, but I live in an apartment complex, and it's a great way to meet your neighbors, especially at 2 a.m. Man, they'll be right there hanging on. Hi there. I'm new to the neighborhood. I like my apartment complex, but I've had to change the way I cook lately. The landlord replaced the smoke detector. My apartment's kind of funky. I keep all of, this is something new actually, but I keep all my plants in the refrigerator now. I know that sounds weird, but I figured, what the hell? All the plants were brown, and all the crap in the fridge was green and growing. Why not give it a shot? You know, and I'm very creative in the kitchen. I like to do things like, well, use whatever you've got available. So I'll make a peanut butter and chocolate pudding sandwich on a rye. It's actually pretty good. And I like to fake myself out. I'm one of those people, I'll eat my bread from the middle of the loaf. And so when you get down to the end, you got 2 heels left. And rather than making a peanut butter and whatever sandwich between 2 heels, I'll turn them inside out so it looks like a normal sandwich on the outside. And for some reason, I just feel better about that stuff, you know? I guess I should have known I was going to do comedy when I was young, because I like to mess with my mom. Things like alphabets can be a whole lot of, well, it's a kick. Hey, Mom, there's a bug in my cereal. She comes running over and C-B-U-G. And she slaps you on the back of the head, you know, walks up. And say, Mom, is that a word? F-U-C-E? Here, have some grapefruit. You know, what is it with the F-word stuff? This is something I don't get. A lot of places, when you can't say the F-word, you can say F-word. Now, you know what F-word means. I know what F-word means. When I say F-word, you've spelled it out in your mind, probably in all caps. I have moved it from my mind to yours, but it's somehow better because it didn't go through the air. I think what we need to do is to simplify it, is simply change the grammar, and from now on, we'll just make up a new rule. The F is silent. And so you can look at somebody and go, up you, aka, mother ucker. No problem whatsoever. Hey, in addition to that, I do some artwork, more doodles. I like to play on the computer in my drawing programs, that sort of thing. I was showing a friend some of my artwork, something I created, and she goes, wow, now that's art. The F is silent. It can be tough to be a comic. It's much harder than being a musician. For example, if you're a musician, you can do a cover song. Alright? You can't do cover jokes. You can't do tribute jokes. You can't do the same joke every week and call it a collection of hits. You know? And if I carried this up on stage as a musician, it's called sheet music. When you're a comic, sometimes you'll do anything to pay the bills until your big break comes. So, I mean, I thought kangaroo boxing might be the way to go. You gotta give it a shot. It was not for me. I tried. I could get him in that damn thing, but I couldn't get the lid closed. I couldn't make it. I also got a new Galaxy S3 phone. Yeah, I love it. But I tell you, there are some apps in there that I don't think I'm going to use. They've got these things where you check in and tell the world, all my shit's home alone. And so I'm writing a new app, and it'll say, Chrystine is at the joke gym, and she has automatically fed the Dobermans, electrified the windows, and loaded the shotgun pointed at the front door. I just gotta say, I love, friends when you're a comic, because you don't get that many of them. I've actually
you know, you can battle a little depression from time to time.
Yeah.
And we're all close enough for friends. I could admit sometimes I get suicidal. I'll actually sit around an entire day and do nothing but write jokes about the Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah.
You know, I'm concerned about getting old. I told a friend of mine, and again, friends are so important in this life. And I said, nah, it's getting late. I gotta go home and get some beauty sleep. And she said, you don't need any beauty sleep. And I'm thinking, how sweet. Till she said, you need a beauty coma. You know, I am concerned about getting older. I've got a birthday coming up in just a few days. And it's not a big birthday. A big birthday is something that ends with O. This one is what I call a liar's birthday, because it ends with the 9. For the next year, every time somebody asks your age, they'll say, and for what, the second, the third time, you know? So I've decided to just lie about my age. Somebody says, how old are you? I say I'm 82. They always say, damn, you look good. And I'm afraid I started this last time we were here, and I've been expanding my list. I'm concerned about waking up some morning and discovering I've just become some old biddy. So I put together a list of warning signs. You might find these helpful. If your bra size is 46 long, you could be an old biddy. If your waist size is larger than your bra size, you could be an old biddy. If you own a moo-moo and you describe it as form-fitting, you could be an old biddy. If you think a house coat and fuzzy slippers are for grocery shopping, you could be an old biddy. If you have more cats than teeth, you could be an old biddy. If you are regularly having shouting, obnoxious, loud shouting matches with yourself, you could be an old biddy. If you consider yourself athletic because you have tennis shoes on the legs of your walker, you could be an old biddy. If the happiest moment of your day is a good bowel movement, you could be an old biddy. If Bengay is your favorite perfume, you could, if they confuse your varicose veins for Google Maps and keep trying to get a street view, you could be an old biddy. If you think sex is a 4-letter word, you are not an old biddy, but you may need a new prescription for your bifocals. And the last one, if your cats are eating gourmet cat food, but you're eating the store brand, you could be an old biddy.